Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. GARGI, a divine debate with YAJNAVALKYA. My dharma, the impeccable wisdom. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature, which with the perfect objects are designed and created. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening. Akhand Vidya wisdom is empowering. This picture shows about Yajnavalkya, King Janak, Maitri, and all the rishis which are assembled in Janakpura to have a discussion about the subject about Brahman and all the aspects of that. And this was done during a particular period. We are going to talk about that. But in this picture, you can see the cows on one side, which are reward for the contestant who wins the particular section. Now, as I told you, King Janak was doing Rajasuya. He wanted to become a Maha king. He invited sages from all over India, whether the kings and princes, to participate. And Yajna lasted for a lot time, and all the austerities required to do to make the yajna very powerful and create a spiritual purity was done. He himself was a great scholar, impressed with a large gathering of learned people, and was impressed with the kind of discussion which was there in the process. He thought of selecting a scholar from assembled group of elite accomplished scholars who had the maximum knowledge about Brahman. We can call Nirankar, Nirgun, Brahman, from which everything is come, or Sakar, Sargun, Brahman, are other gods and goddesses, and all the description about divinity within and outside. And as a result, he devised a divine plan and offered a prize of 1,001 cows with a gold covering to the winner. The scholars have come from outer, and Yajnavalkya and Gargi were the two which stand out the conversation in this particular debate. Yajnavalkya, who was aware that he was the most spiritually knowledgeable among the assembled gathering, as he had mastered the art of science and Kundalini. Now, a new concept, and let me make one thing very clear. I am not giving anything from my pocket. This is all the information available in public domain about Maharishi Yajnavalkya. And first ancient person who has been attributed to the science of Kundalini Yoga is Yajnavalkya only. No wonder he knew about Stapta Brahmana and also talked about 7 aspects of Kundalini within the body, which I have already shown in the last of Yajnavalkya's life. As he entered, he asked his disciple, Samsrava, to take away the cows to his herd, to his house as a word. This particular statement infuriated all the scholars as they felt that he was taking away the prize without even contesting it. Some of the local Pandit scholars did not even volunteer to debate with him, they opted out. However, 8 renowned sages challenged him to a debate which included Gargi, the only woman in the assembled gathering. Sages like Asula, the priest of Janaka, Artanga, Ujjivi, Ushta, Udalka. Udalka was also his own teacher who had taught Yajnavalkya in earlier days. Debated with him and asked questions about philosophical subject to which Yajnavalkya provided all convincing replies, and everybody lost the debate fully and finally, and Yajnavalkya was the winner. When all the 7 defeated him, he was more or less again fine. That's the last stage. Gargi came to take up the challenge. Gargi, as one of the disciplinary in debate, questioned Yajnavalkya on his claim of superiority among the scholars. He is the first female who is regarded as great scholar of the world, and this particular conversation between Gargi's questions and Yajnavalkya's answers prove that she knew what kind of question to ask and what kind of answer he gave is a master by that sense, and this was done 5,000-6,000 years ago in India's era of Ramayana, King Raj of Rama. Now, and she held repeated arguments with Gargi and Yajnavalkya's exchange centered on ultimate war of reality, which with the basic foundation of material of a structure and entity. And that is what Vedas are known. Rig Veda is primarily about atom, elements, molecules to compound. All the gods and goddesses are the part of nature, and where Agni stands out, all the Devi Devatas stand out, is the result, and this conversation started from that particular angle. Initial dialogue with Yajnavalkya tended to be too metaphysical, the unending status of the soul, away from the practical situations. That initial circus was on philosophical concepts, on aspects of soul, and that discussion can go on and go on. Even today, I find our philosophers have conversations. They agree to disagree, and the result they continue to do, they have never come out of that. And that is some first realize that philosophical discussions are absolutely of no use. You see, Gargi realized this kind of conversation is no use. We need to be more scientific, practical, mathematical, conclusive, which has absolutely mathematical design, which nobody can deny. I think time has come to change her approach and asked him pointed questions related to environment existing in the world, the question of very origin of all existence. How did it start? Why? Where did it start? Her question was specific when he asked, since the whole world is woven back and forth on water, and what then is it woven back and forth? A question that related to the commonly known cosmological metaphor that expressed the unity of the world is in essential interconnectedness is most beautiful. And I am glad that Vedas and Upanishads make it very clear. All the creation came out of water, and that's what I have been saying. Solid and water are two components. Water is 61.8034 and solid is 38.196. From water only everything is come. What initially came was pure water, and what from where saline water we are getting is solution form. But everything comes from water because that's the only dynamic state things to be done. What a wonderful question. That means she knew what Vedas and Upanishads are talking about, what the universal consciousness, Gargi knew very well, that it starts from water and then things happen. You can call this particular thing as a first question also at the dialogue based on that, and also the question that everything in the nature is interconvertible. Matter to energy, energy to the matter is something. Solid to the water, water to the solid, or to the Agni, Vayu, or plasmatic say Akash Bhuta. They are, and we have talked about 5 elements from the Vedas period, 10,000 years ago, Ramayana period, almost 5,000-6,000 years ago. So specifically, where modern science still talks about only 3 states, solid, water, and gases, where we knew about 5 states, 10 states, even 1,000 years ago. And you can see the dialogue in the Virhat Upanishad. And this particular picture, I'm just trying to again show Yajnavalkya did not believe in any human guru. He said no human guru can answer his question because they have a very limited knowledge. His answer can be given by Goddess Saraswati, only the goddess of knowledge. She is full of knowledge, and that's what I've been saying. Believe in Saraswati, she'll give you all the knowledge. You got to be devoted to her. But in the same picture, you can also see Om. Also shows that picture that he was not only Saraswati, it is also Om, which is actually 22 by 7 or pi. No wonder it's 22 by 7 pi, and this particular design was done by him thousands of years ago. And I am also glad 50 years ago I had drawn the picture of Om, which is perfect for every angle and equivalent to 22 by 7 or pi. It speaks volumes about the knowledge part. Second, you see, he did not believe in human gurus, human being. He believed that Surya can give him all the information. So he was devoted to Surya. So in the process, actually, Gayatri Mantra, which starts in Rigved as Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimhi Diyo Yonaha Prachodayat. But Yajurved, Chakal Yajurved, from which Maharishi Yajnavalkya drives its inspiration, talks about Bhur Bhava Swa before Tat. He realized Tat means universal consciousness, which is further divided into Trinity, Bhur, Earth, Bhava, Antariksh, and Heaven. Beautiful thing is there in Yajurveda itself. And as a result, I would say, Sun is the one who gives us the Antaratma, Aditi, helium-4, is manufactured in Surya and given to us, and it's a link between us and that makes things better. And I make it very clear. Helium-4 is Antaratma, indwelling soul, is also Kundalini, which is there for us to connect it with Aditi of the sun and get all the knowledge, and that is the first stage of self-realization, which has to be complete for anyone to be perfect. Now let's come to the conversation between Gargi's questions and Yajnavalkya's answers. But in this conversation, in Brihad Upanishad, he does not use the word Yajnavalkya as such, but he talks about the one who cannot be beaten. That's the beauty again. There are many names to different people. Yajnavalkya is one, Yajnavalkya is another, Ajay is another thing, and that conversation is like that. So let's say the first question which stands out is about Aditya again, the sun. Gargi says the person who yonder in the sun, on him do I meditate as a Brahman, as the ultimate reality. Yajna said, please do not talk about him. He is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and all pervading as the head and the king of the solar system. The presiding king of solar system is Surya, and anyone who wants to understand is in solar system has to understand Surya and be one with Surya. Only then you will understand A to Z the entire universe, because we drive everything from Surya, and that's it. And he also believed that he has to learn to give and give. And the same thing which is there with me, you get the knowledge from God and give to the world for the love of it. Not for money, name, fame. No. When money, name, fame comes, then all the privations, problems come up, because then you will be restricting yourselves. If you want to be honest, truthful, non-violent, complete, living cosmic consciousness, cosmic Purusha, then you got to give and give, and nothing more than that. He was the first one who did it, and I think I'm the one in this love is giving, 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 come what may. You become like Harishchandra, you become Dhanvir Karan, you become like that and give it. That's it. But I have realized it is not the money which matters, it is the knowledge you have to give it. More and more you give, more and more it grows. So learn to give knowledge, not money as such. Then second question comes of Chandra, the moon. Surya is the one who gives you everything, agreed. The moon is a Brahman. He said, don't talk about as such. I meditate moon as a white-robed King Soma, who meditates on me as such. Soma is not alcohol. And Somvar on Monday is after moon, and that's the day actually you get energy. The energy produced within the body is Soma, not alcohol. That one which can give a nectar, and it is on water, and that's it. And in the process, as I told you, he was a king of Kundalini Yoga. First one talked about chakras, nadis, and other things. Here he is talking about Surya as Pingla Nadi and Chandar as Ida Nadi. So Ida and Pingla, unless both the nadis are in balance, they center one sympathetic system. They should be balanced and be in the middle with Sushmana Nadi to keep the balance between cranial parasympathetic, sympathetic, and sacral parasympathetic. When one is at lowest level, one is at second level, one is third. In other words, tamas, rajas, and sattvic, all the three are connected with this only. That's the most beautiful part, which his discussion he is trying to explain. Then third question comes up is What is the enlightening, the light? Brahman, he said, radiant light. And here comes the question is, before the creation, Yajnavalkya says, everything was in a Mrityu form. And I say is the most descriptive thing before the creation. It was Mrityu form. That means there was something, it was not without anything. It's clarity given by Yajnavalkya many years ago. It did not talk about tamas, it did not talk about andhakar, it did not talk about zero. He said, no, it's a mrityu form. It's a dead body. It's a dead matter, and I have converted that as an isomers of neon 21. When isomers of neon 21 got together to become brilliant light, the plasmatic state is what in this particular thing is talking about. Yes, that is the one who has that, who has the knowledge of the complete thing. That person is radiant, is full of energy. The aura around the person who is one in tune with plasmatic state, the energy matter, would run in miles and miles and miles. And that is impeccable wisdom. Next question comes up is, from that brilliant light which was formed, came the plasmatic state of matter, Akash Bhuta, called GARGI, ether, or quintessence, and that is something to be understood as the one which is Brahman. He said, yes. Now, this is unmoving and full energy. That means entire universe is filled with energy. Is one form in everything. It is not specific to area. That is one point which should be understood. Energy is there around everything. That is abundance. That is full. It's unmoving and fills everything. He who meditates on this is filled with offspring and cattle in time, and they do not depart to the world. As a result, he is an immortal soul who understands Akash Bhuta, the plasmatic state of the matter. Next came the question of Vayu, the air element. Do I meditate? Yajna said, don't talk about that. I meditate him as an irresistible, unquenchable army, the Lord of nature, because everything from one end to the other end has to be in a dynamic state. Plasma is there throughout, but to take from one to the other and bring the dynamism, you need Vayu. And Vayu is expanding, consistent, beautiful. And who makes that person will be victorious, unconquerable, and conquer the whole world. He literally becomes Ajay Purusha. You can see this particular picture. The sixth stage came Agni. It's a person which is Brahman. He said, meditate him as forbearing and giving. He who meditates on him as such becomes forbearing, loving, caring. His offspring also become forbearing, loving, and caring. As a result, will become a place of love, care, and full. It says that every person who has to work for the world has to have a full of energy, full of Agni. And that is what he was talking about, and I have translated that as an oxygen. Without oxygen, you cannot do anything. As long oxygen is there, you burn. Very moment oxygen is taken, you are dead and gone. And that's it. What a beautiful way of now slowly coming the question. Look at the question and look at the answer. Has anyone till date translated that way in the light of conclusive divine mathematics, Divyank and other? I think this is what the kind of knowledge which I want everyone throughout the world to have it, so that we don't have to unlearn and relearn again and again, which is a difficult job. Let's go to the next stage. He talks about the person who is yonder in apa, mean water. Do I meditate? He said, don't talk about it. I meditate him as likeness, oneness, who has meditates on him as such. Comes what he like, not like what is unlike him. Also from him is born what is like him. He is talking about that water element is actually about sperm, procreation, and genetic identical representation. And that is what you can see in this particular picture. He is connected apa, water, with sperm and procreation. Then comes Adarsh Purusha, the yonder, the person who is yonder in a mirror, who is your reflection. Do I meditate? He said, please don't talk to him. I meditate as the shining one. He who meditates on me as such becomes shining himself indeed. He also shines those with whom he comes in contact. He's talking about progeny, he's talking about the growing child who comes in contact with the mother through placenta, and that's the picture is all about. So, eighth one is about the growing child who has been formed after union of sperm and ovum in the mother. Then ninth stage comes the one person who can walk. That means you have delivered, who can move around in the body, in the womb. Do I talk? Yes, I met him as a life-giving one. He has come to the stage. He has got a life. Now he can grow to the extent world is. And breath does not depart from him before time. He is a healthy, wealthy, wise human being. And I'm literally talking about perfect human being as the one he's talking about. Walking, talking, Purusha. Then next comes the question of consciousness, awareness of things. The word he used is called dikshu, the seer. That means once a child grows to a higher stage, his thinking capacity comes up. And when he starts thinking about, he is able to understand the difference between right and wrong. And he meditates on such a person as a second is also called reinitiation dvija into Gayatri Mantra and Punal, other things. And he cuts himself from thing. As a result, his senses, mind, intelligence, intuition, consciousness become together, and that is Dikshu. That awareness is Dikshu, is talked about. Then come to the next stage of talking about a shadow. When he's talking about a shadow, he's talking about the dead body. When person dies, is there because whosoever is born has to die. It is hidden part, is a shadow of it. It cannot be done. But one who would understand would have death will not come before time. He'll have Ichha Mritu Vardhan. And finally, he talks about the self which gets into, and that is what he 4 is, and that is what Aditi is, and that person would have all the things required. He will survive through his procreation as part of universal consciousness and procreation. And all that is ended into this particular picture. I think enough for the day. Thank you very